Welcome to the Digital Coffee Break presented by Scrappineers.com. My name is Tiffany Tillman Emanuel, founder and educator for Scrappineers, and I'm delighted to be your hostess as always today. With us is a designer I've known for seems like centuries, a talented, true artist both digitally and on paper. Her name is Karla Dudley. She lives in San Diego with her five kiddos. She has been on the scrapbooking scene since 2003. Starting off with paper scrapbooking, she became a digital designer in 2008. Her style is modern yet imperfect, lots of techniques used in subtle ways. Her layouts leave you wondering, how in the heck does she do that? She is all about bringing her own visions to life by customizing her designs and adding her own personal touches to her pages in the form of handwriting, pattern play, and altering techniques. I could go on. Karla oozes perfect imperfection and has a good time scrapping the stories of her life and children. Her from scratch digital kits make it easy to document the everyday in style. Welcome to the show, Karla.
Hello, I'm so glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you are welcome. You're welcome. I'm sorry it took us this long to get you on the show. I'm just playing.
Girl, it's all right.
Bye.
Sorry.
We
All right,
tried.
this is a page that I used one of the templates that we showed earlier. Super simple template, but you can make it awesome or as simple as you want it. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to talk about brushes. Brushes are like my main tool in digital scrapbooking because and I consider them tools, okay? Um, and there's two techniques that I use all the time. And I'm going to go into full screen, it's easier. Okay. Now, if I zoom in here and you see this picture, it is blurry, the picture, but on the edges, it's painting. It's like, looks like paint, okay? Or someone sanded, okay? I do that all the time, okay? And I'm gonna show you how to get this look. And the look is realistic. That's the point. Okay. So I'm gonna take this uh container here. It's craft paper. And what I do in order to create a painted or inked or sanded effect, I load it as a selection. So I'm just clicking command and click on it. I'm going to
Mhm.
hide those ants so I can, okay, it's still selected, but I hit it so we can see. I'm going to make a new
How,
layer above it.
time out for a second. How did you hide the selection so you couldn't see the marching ants anymore?
Oh, I pressed Command H. I That's on a Mac, and I think on a PC it would be maybe
Control
Control
H.
H. I think that's
Yeah.
right. And
Okay.
that hides it. And you can also do that with text too. You know how you highlight text and you're like, oh, that highlight. Yeah, you can hide the highlight.
Right.
But anyway,
Because it hides guides and all those extra pieces that makes Photoshop easier to see. So just for someone who's watching it and didn't know how to do it, I just wanted to explain that. Go ahead. Okay, keep going.
and so I made a new layer above it. And then we're gonna set the color to white because I'm just pretending that we're painting the edges, okay? And then
Hmm.
I'm gonna choose a brush that has, it's kind of like a ripped paper edge to it, and you're gonna get this later. You guys can download this later. And all I do is go right in the corner and in the corners, and I just stamp along the edges. See that? I hope you all
Hmm.
can
Yeah,
see. And
we
then,
can.
okay, Karla, really honestly. Okay, yeah. See, just a little bit. And you can rotate. See that you can tell, oh, that was a mistake, right? So you just kind of back it. But you can do it as little or as much as you want. And it's always different for each container. Even though you're using the same brush, it's always different. That's what I like about this technique because it's just random and, so that's what I do. I love doing that. And I can do that on stickers, papers, photos, whatever you think you want to do it to. And that is very realistic and it's subtle and I love it. And
Hmm.
then there is another, and again, I just wanted to say that looks like paint or sanding, but if you change the color to like maybe like a dark brown or something like that, it will
Hmm.
look like ink instead of um, paint, kind of like it kind of looks like ink. You see that?
Yeah.
It gives it just changing the color, it kind of looks
Hmm.
like you inked it instead. Okay.
Yeah.
So either way, and then you can lower the opacity if you want. Oh yes, let's have fun. Okay. So that's one technique, right? Now
Love it.
the next one is kind of hard to explain, but basically when you stamp, oh no, hold on 1 second, guys. Okay, I'm gonna change my color back to white, and then I'm going to deselect, and I'm on a new layer, and I'm just gonna pick a brush, and I'm gonna stamp it. Okay, now this looks fine just like that, but I want it more realistic. To me, it doesn't look that realistic being so thick and so solid like that. So I'll
So
take
strong.
yeah, so strong. It's just a little bit not realistic, right? So I'm taking this distress brush. Again, this is another brush, these two brushes you guys are gonna get. And it looks like it looks like this. Let me just stamp it real quick. Okay, it looks like kind of wood. Okay, that's what we're doing. But we're going to use it as an eraser. So I click on my eraser, click the brush, and I'm going to just erase. I'm going to stamp right on top of that love this. And now you can see it took a lot away, too much away. Okay, so let me go back, and I'm going to take the opacity down just a little bit, just like to 65, and then stamp it again. And see that? That looks total realistic, okay? Like, I love doing that too, and I also did it. Let me get rid of this brush, it's distracting. Okay, I also did it over here on this C over here. Do you see that C, how it looks kind of scratchy like that? I
Oh
did
yeah.
this same technique. So from afar, it looks like, oh, it's a stamp, yo. That's a stamp. And you know what? We just made that effect. I do that all the time. I do it on all sorts of things. Now, that's using just two brushes. I'm creating those effects, but I want to do one more thing. And if I zoom in here, you can see what I did. Hold on. All right, you see this text here and how it has it's like erased there at the edge. I don't know if you can tell.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of things and I'm not calling anybody out, but a lot of times people, they have a brush, and let me get a brush. Actually, let me do this one. Okay, so we have this brush in pink, Make a Wish. And you can see it's over both containers, the one craft one and the one white one up there. Well, it looks fine, but that's not realistic. If you're really going to stamp it, it's not going to look like that. So I just take one of the default round brushes, and as you can see, it's too big. So I'm just going to put it down to like a 6 or something. Make it really small. Zoom in, and then use it as an eraser. Okay, so again, you're erasing. Let me change the size again. Sorry, 6. I hope that's okay. And you just go right up to the edge. Make sure you're on that layer. Hold down the shift key and just run your eraser across. Oh wait. Sorry, I'm all over the place. Okay, so you just run your eraser across like that. Okay, and that just kind of like makes it look like, you stamped. There's a space there. It's kind of hard to explain, right? How do you explain that? Okay.
I completely get it. It's basically like if you were to stamp something that, and it has different levels, it's not going
Yeah.
to, the paint's not going to make it to every single level the exact same way. It's going to have some areas where it comes off the page and you have a little lip, a little
Yeah.
bump. And you're
Yes.
using the small pixel eraser there to show that there's a bump right there.
Right. And
Yeah.
if you want to get jiggy with it, you can. I just loaded the A part, or that little part in between the two. I loaded that as a selection, just that part, because that's not part of these two containers. And then I'm going to use my distress brush again down here
Ooh,
and
yeah.
stamp. And then that way, that is a whole nother thing. Like, what's going on right there? I don't know. Just a little thing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, so
You
I
did
I
was
just
use So what you did is you took your rectangular marquee tool to basically on that part right there where it would in real life in if you were scrapbooking on paper, it wouldn't show up as well because you didn't press as hard as you did on the other two pieces. And you took the magic wand, you created a selection in that area, and then once the selection was created, you erased using the distress brush so that way it appeared less strong, you know?
Yeah.
She said,
Mm-hmm.
Jen says, now that I don't do, taking it up a notch, she loves it.
Yeah.
and,
Good, good.
and you're right. These are just small details that really with your layouts, when you look at your full layouts when they're done and they have all the pictures and stuff, it's just these details that we don't understand why it works, but we know it's working. And then as you detail it, it goes, oh my gosh. Because one thing I've been bugging out over here is I love the fact that you have this little piece of paper, you know, stapled over that extra,
Yeah.
that extra tag, not tag, but the little container there. And
Yeah.
how cool is that to have that? Because of course in paper that's something we kind of wouldn't do, but in digital we can totally get away with it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And you could have guessed you can have something poking under. There was no really reason for that, to be honest with you. I wanted, if you look on the other end and how it has like that notebook paper look on it,
Hmm.
the little
Yeah.
holes, I wanted that to go over my picture a little bit. I wanted to
Mhm.
tie that all together, and even with like the handwriting, oh, I blocked some of the handwriting there. Well,
Mhm.
that's okay with me. It's just saying it's just a sentiment that's just, oh, a sentiment. Doesn't it's not the journaling will be somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? That's just a total design element, you know?
Right.
And so you kind of like, I don't know, it's just the look. It's just I don't know. It's you
Yeah.
just think so when you do brushes are like powerful, man. They're like you just because they're like tools and then they look and you can just do so much with them. Like that's my jam right
Yeah.
there.
Well, thank you so much for showing us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you, Jen. You know I love you, girl. Thank you, Tiffany.
Oh no, thank you. I love your kids. I love your style, and we've been friends for so long. So I really appreciate you hanging out with us, and I get to share more of the reason why I love Karla and the Facebook joke and that you're my wife and stuff like that. It's totally true. It's totally true. That's not a
Wifey,
rumor. Totally true.
wifey
My,
forever.
yes. Okay, you guys, I want to thank Karla Dudley of Karla Dudley Designs. You can find her shop at thedigitalpress.co. And thank you to our live audience. That would be Jen. Stacy was hanging out with us for a while. High fives to you all. And thanks to you, our viewers who support our video cast. I'm Tiffany Tillman Emanuel. Find me over at simplytiffanystudios.com. We'll see you again for the next digital coffee break. And remember, keep creating those beautiful digital memories because no one can capture your piece of the world quite like you can.